So, apparently, EA's stranglehold on Star Wars is gone. Let's get into it. Hello there, guys. This is Solid Shepard bringing you another video, and today we're going to be going over this article talking about from Digital Trends. Uh, I'll try to remember to put the link in the description below this time. I know I forgot last time. But we're here to talk about Star Wars is no longer only being made by EA. Now, just a heads up, that doesn't mean that Star Wars or EA can't make Star Wars. It just means that other people can also make the game. So it kind of opens up the IP. I wish the NFL would follow this because, man, Madden's been trash for a while now. And EA sucks. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's get into it. EA's Star Wars stranglehold is gone, just as the games were getting good by Giovanni Colantonio. I hope I pronounced that right. And it is on the website Digital Trends. So, in 2021's first bit of bombshell gaming news, Disney announced it had decided to end a long-running partnership with EA and granted the studio exclusive development rights to the Star Wars franchise. Instead, Disney opted to open the series back up to other developers and gave Ubisoft the reins for its first post-EA game. Like I said, it's not necessarily post-EA, it's just EA doesn't have exclusive rights, so, Jedi Fallen Order 2 can still be made and all that. Many gaming fans found the news to be a positive step for the franchise, and for good reason. EA has had a troubled history with the series since entering into the deal in 2013. While the change ultimately feels positive, it's hard to shake the feeling that the rug is getting pulled out on EA just as it was finding its footing. Look, if it took EA this long to find its footing, it should have been pulled earlier, to be completely honest with you. I don't feel bad for EA. How could you? They're doing fine. EA is doing fine. For anyone who likes Star Wars, this is a good thing. Now if only we could get Disney to not own the Star Wars franchise as far as the movies, and we'd be set. That's neither here or there. There's word they're bringing in George Lucas to fix it, so hopefully Star Wars will be fine moving forward. Of course, you had Luke Skywalker come back in The Mandalorian, so spoilers. I guess I should have said spoiler warning before that. My bad. I mean, it was spoiled for me too. I haven't even watched The Mandalorian. Don't tar and feather me, but I haven't even watched it. I saw it through spoilers as well. But I do like Star Wars. I remember Knights of the Old Republic. Hopefully they can bring back Knights of the Old Republic and actually do that now. Because you could actually have Bethesda get Bethesda, or why am I having Obsidian? You could have Bethesda or Obsidian do it. Maybe work together to make a KOTOR 3 finally. I know they did the MMO, but I'm talking about like an actual Knights of the Old Republic game. A New Hope. EA and Disney Star Wars partnership started off strong enough. In 2015, EA successfully brought back the Star Wars Battlefront brand with a fun multiplayer revival. Successful is a strong word there, gaming journalist. It was serviceable. A lot of people complained because it didn't have enough content, and all that. And then Battlefront 2 happened. In 2015, okay, I read that. Players' good faith was quickly squandered. And like I said, it wasn't much good faith. That's being disingenuous. It was clearly, but I do agree. Yes, Battlefront 2 was terrible. It was squandered with the sequel, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 too, because the original Battlefront 2 that was out on the PlayStation 2 was actually great. Players don't need to pony up to unlock paid content, but doing it the old-fashioned way required dozens of hours of grinding. No, we're talking about hundreds of hours of grinding. It wasn't dozens, it was hundreds. If you wanted to unlock everything in the game, we're talking about hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hours, not dozens. Okay? Dozens of hours is beating The Witcher 3. Not even then, it doesn't take dozens of hours. It takes like 40 or 50 hours. Man, gaming journalism, man, you gotta love it. Even whenever they're doing they're on the right side of the topic, like they still find ways to like be disingenuous somehow in the article. When a fan complained about the system on Reddit, EA replied by noting that the system was meant to inspire a sense of pride and accomplishment. Oh, the meme, the Young Yeah meme. Anyone who watches Young Yeah would know what I'm talking about. Oh, you gotta love that. The comment quickly. Sorry. The comment quickly became the most downvoted comment in Reddit history. EA responded by disabling microtransactions entirely prior to launch, but for many players, the well was irreversibly poisoned. Yeah, because they designed the whole game around the microtransactions. So when you remove the microtransactions, that makes it worse because at that point, the only people who were able to enjoy the game were the whales who were willing to spend a bunch of money on microtransactions, and now those people couldn't even enjoy the game either, so it just became a complete trash heap. EA, if you want a good game, you have to design it to be a good game from the ground up, from the start. You can't just do it after it's been released and finalized. Like, removing the microtransactions doesn't change the fact that it's grindy as hell. In the short few years since the historic Fallout, EA appeared to take the backlash to heart. The studio went to release Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is we'll wait and see if they cover this in the article before I continue with what I was about to say. EA appeared to take the backlash to heart. The studio went on to release Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in 2019, which focused on single-player storytelling with no hidden fees. Just last fall, it returned to multiplayer with Star Wars Squadrons. The aerial combat game was imagined as a you-get-what-you-paid-for experience that didn't feature any microtransactions or pricey DLC. EA even decided to break its own promise by offering unplanned free content based on the enthusiastic response from fans. I mean, they kind of had to. Their stocks were falling bad after Battlefront 2. The funny thing about Jedi Fallen Order, they didn't bring it up in this. They might bring it up in the very next paragraph, but I really wanted to make sure I covered this before I forget. Is a lot of people don't realize that at one point EA came out and tried to tell us that gamers didn't want single-player, story-driven experiences anymore. They wanted games as a product. To the point where I believe it was at the Game Awards that same year, Bethesda came out and did this cheeky little video making fun of them.
The need to save single-player gamers. Everyday gamers in search of a single-player experience are left behind, forgotten, neglected.
That was hilarious. It was a whole meme. So they came out and said players didn't want single-player stuff until the Battlefront 2 gamers service thing happened, and so they're like, oh shit, we're fucked. What's the best thing we can do? Oh, go make a single-player game that's like Dark Souls. And suddenly it sold. And then, also, they did do a games as a service multiplayer game, but they weren't scummy with it. Oh, it sold. Turns out people there is the multiplayer crowd and there is the single player crowd. Both are just as important, EA, and neither want to be milked. And that's basically what they're trying to do. They were trying to convince us that we didn't want single player games anymore because multiplayer games you spend $60 for are a lot easier to sell, microtransactions and bullcrap like that. And that's why they did that. To the point where, what was her name again? Was it Susan Wojcicki, or am I thinking of someone else? Anyway, the woman who was really behind the Uncharted series, like she worked on Uncharted, that EA brought her in, was working on an Uncharted style Star Wars game. The problem was it was single player, and after after EA came out and tried to say that no one wants single player games anymore, they canceled it. So that, combined with the fallout from Battlefront 2, I think really woke EA's eyes up. So then that's when they decided, okay, we'll do the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order single-player game, and it sold like freaking hotcakes. It's like, oh, imagine that. So, rise up, gamers. We made a change. The difference between Squadrons and Battlefront 2's launches were night and day. While it would have been easy for the company to squeeze in a paid component, the restraint seemed to indicate that the company had learned from the mistake for now. Watch EA closely. They'll start trying to do that crap again. Learn from their mistake, at least when it came for the Star Wars brand. Add in the company's long-term commitment to supporting Battlefront 2, which received updates through 2020, and it seemed like EA was on the right track. Perhaps the most importantly, EA's newer titles presented an exciting creative vision for the franchise. Jedi Fallen Order successfully took elements from Dark Souls, Metroid, and Uncharted to create one of the better single-player Star Wars games to hit shelves yet. Debatable, but it was a good game. It was a really good game, especially considering who it was from, EA. Squadrons found an exciting new way to bring the series' epic space fights to life thanks to excellent VR support. Taking exclusivity rights away from EA in 2018 would have been a justified decision that few would have disagreed with, myself included. The timing just feels off in 2021 as EA was finally sticking the landing and giving the brand its first era of consistency in well over a decade. I disagree. They had one VR game. Let's be honest. VR Squadrons is what it is because of the VR niche, right? If it wasn't for that, it'd still be a good game, but I don't know. It'd be like it'd probably feel more like a mini game, a mini mode in another game. Like I don't know. I don't think if it was just a full on, just normal controller in hand, just normal on the TV console game, I don't think it would be as good. Because it's a VR game, it's pretty good. Could be wrong about that. That's just my take. It's my opinion on it. But even if you do count that, it's two good games. Okay? It's two good games. And the damage had kind of already been done with Battlefront 2 and everything before that. Like I said, Battlefront 1 wasn't really well received either. They felt like it was very lacking in content. And with all of EA's other missteps, like with other IPs and other franchises, I really don't blame Disney for wanting something new. And here's the other thing, right? This is a very kind of anti-consumer move by trying to make an article anti-gamer, by trying to write an article saying it's a bad move now, because they're not taking away EA's rights to the Star Wars franchise. It's just that EA is not the only ones who can make them now. EA can still make the games. They're just going to have some competitions from other studios now. Going back to Madden, when was the last time Madden was good? It's when they had to compete against 2K. A step back. What's especially puzzling is Disney's decision to pass the baton to Ubisoft for an open-world Star Wars title. Well, guess what? EA had that opportunity, and they fired the woman who was working on it and canceled it. And who cares who it's from? That sounds legit, man. Don't you want to play an open-world Star Wars game? That sounds pretty cool. Well, it could be. Let's see what they do with it. But I like the idea of it. The shift makes sense on its surface. Ubisoft has the open world formula down to a science thanks to series like Assassin's Creed, and it's easy to imagine titles that vein becoming cash cows for Disney. I don't know if I'd say that Ubisoft, I think Assassin's Creed has some of the most interesting open worlds in the world. They're definitely beautiful. There's a lot to do in it, but the stuff to do is all kind of padding. It's kind of collection quests, find trophies and such. Still, it's hard not to feel like Disney has taken a step backwards with the deal. How? How did they take a step backwards? They're not denying EA from making Star Wars games. From a PR standpoint, Ubisoft is in a more unstable standing with gamers now than EA was in 2017. They're putting their eggs in two baskets instead of one. That's all they're doing. My chances are better with two unstable baskets than just one. At least there's that double redundancy there. There's more unstable than gamers now than EA was in 2017. The studio's recent sexual misconduct scandal forced top executives out of the company, sending it into rebuild mode. Okay, might have to do a video about that. Yeah, I'm going to do a video probably about this one, because I am actually not very familiar with it. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. YouTube might freaking shadow ban me for talking about that. But even if this is the case, you say right here, forced top executives out of the company, which means they dealt with whatever situation was going on there. So I really don't see the issue. They're obviously still making games. Sending it into rebuild mode. Ubisoft has taken steps to right its wrongs. There you go. What's the problem then? something happens to a company once, so we never forgive them. See, EA's problem isn't that they've done bad in the past. The problem is they've done bad in the past, and every time they've made up for it, they just wait until everyone's comfortable with them again, and then they always do bad. They do bad stuff again. Okay, that's the problem with EA. They've been voted the worst company in America by the Better Business Bureau multiple times. EA has. You can't compare the two just because, mind you, it's a big oof, but it's an oof that's been dealt with just because Ubisoft had an oof. Ubisoft has taken steps to right the wrong since the news broke last summer, but players can't be blamed for feeling like the rights to Star Wars simply moved from one problematic mega studio to another. Who wrote this article? Do they follow video game culture at all? Do they know how this works? Ubisoft has not gotten the exclusive rights to Star Wars. They've just gotten rights to make Star Wars games. It's not exclusive. EA still has rights to make Star Wars games as well. EA is not being forced to not be allowed to make Star Wars games. It's just Ubisoft can also make Star Wars games. That's literally all that's happened. This is why Gamergate happened, okay? I know it got twisted under this freaking sexist women against women in games, which is completely untrue. It was completely untrue. That's not what it was about. It was about crap like this. That's absurd. Sorry, this was not supposed to be about a gaming journal. This wasn't supposed to be a video talking about gaming journalism, but holy crap, man. That reminds me of another video I gotta do, which will probably be the next one. If I don't do this one right here, it'll probably be the next one. If not, if I do this one right here, it'll be the one after this. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. I just remember because I have a heavily, like, so what I'm, real quick, like, to give me 10 seconds to explain this. I'm planning on doing these kind of videos throughout the weeks on my channel now that I'm back, but I do want to do, like, once a week, preferably Monday, like one, like, heavily edited thesis, like, kind of essay type of video, which, like this last Monday, the one about the Star Wars save system, like that. I want something of, like, high quality, kind of higher quality like that. This stuff's just because I have to also work. So if I want to do multiple videos in a week, I got to do something easier to, like, edit and get out like this. Because I work 10-hour days, 5 days a week. Ubisoft's reliance on microtransactions makes the move puzzling. More than anything else, games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Immortals Phoenix Rising both utilize the paid resource packs that speed up progression, not unlike the model used in Battlefront 2. If Ubisoft's open-world game uses a similar approach, it could undo the progress and positive growth EA made for the brand in the past year. EA can still make the games. You know why when EA messed up, why it hurt the Star Wars brand, at least in the gaming world? Because they had exclusive rights. No one else could make it. So if EA was fucking up, then all the hope for Star Wars games was fucking up. Now we're at the point where no one has an exclusive rights to it. So if Ubisoft fucks up, it's not that big a deal. It's just an Ubisoft fuck up. So EA was the only one. So if they couldn't get it right, then there was no hope. Ubisoft, if they mess it up, there's hope because they could get EA's still going to be making Star Wars games. So there's that. You just said EA has kind of had positive growth for the brand in the gaming community. They can still make those games and still continue to have that positive brand. And then as far as a secondary one making the games, Disney just goes to someone else. Ubisoft doesn't work. Bethesda. They go to Bethesda and they make a Knights of the Old Republic 3. It's really not that big of a deal. Passing the torch, they're not... Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. This article was written 2 days ago, so they have known. They should have known, if they're doing their job correctly and doing real research, they should have known by now that EA can still make Star Wars games. They're not passing the torch. Oh my gosh, how many times do I have to say this? They are not passing the torch. EA can still make games. What happened is, Disney went ahead and got a piece of wood, put some cloth over it, fucking lit that on fire. They made another torch and handed it to them. So now there's 2 torches. That's all that happened. No one passed the torch. In truth, it's hard to feel sympathy for a corporation as giant as EA. Yeah. Finally, something I agree with. How many paragraphs has it been? The company made serious missteps with the brand, and has long been a symbol of the industry's controversial financial models. You think? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Even outside of Star Wars, EA is currently dealing with class action lawsuits and fines issued over business models that some consider to be predatory practices akin to gambling. No, some don't consider it is predatory practices akin to gambling. It is digital simulated gambling. That is what loot boxes are. Oh, sorry. Surprise mechanics. On top of that, by the way, gaming journalists, you're supposed to be on our side. You're supposed to be the ones advocating for us. What the hell is this? On top of that, EA isn't losing the rights to Star Wars all day. Oh my gosh. Oh my, he knew. He knew the whole time. So this whole article has just been disingenuous. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. He knew. On top of that, he said it. EA isn't losing the rights to Star Wars altogether. In a statement sent to Digital Trends, EA says, "We are proud of our long-standing collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, which will continue for years to come. We love Star Wars, and we look forward to creating more exciting experiences for players to enjoy. It's not so much a loss as it is a symbolic passing of the torch." By the way, the quote ended right here. So this was him saying it's not so much a loss as it is a symbol. No, that's not what passing the torch means. That is not what passing of the torch means. So I'm a Chiefs fan, right? You can see my Chiefs shirt right here. Okay? When Alex Smith was still the starter, right? He had the torch. And when the Chiefs, whenever Patrick Mahomes was getting tutelage under Alex Smith for that last year, right? And they felt like Patrick Mahomes was ready for his second season in the league, they went ahead and traded Alex Smith. It was now Patrick Mahomes' team. He was the starter. That is passing of the torch, symbolically. That is the passing, because obviously you're not literally passing the torch. It's symbolic. The term itself is symbolic. There really isn't a thing as literally passing the torch, unless it's like, the fucking opening ceremony to the Olympics. They're both making games. They're both making Star Wars games. Still, both the timing and solutions don't feel quite right. Why not? Why does there have to be a timing? Sorry, having a brain aneurysm here. This is so stupid. It would be different if Disney gave the ball to a smaller studio with more ethical practices. Not really, because EA and Ubisoft have many franchises that people just buy, even with all the bad press. It kind of makes business sense. Plus, you get to put your eggs more in one basket. And chances are, Ubisoft's not going to be the last one. They'll probably eventually get another gaming studio to also make games. Star Wars games. Ubisoft is just the first new one. They're not going to be the last. Let's not kid ourselves. It's going to be someone else. I would not be surprised at all if Bethesda or Obsidian got in, made a Star Wars, made KOTOR 3. I kind of hope that happens, actually. That's kind of the most exciting part of this news for me. Yeah, it'd be different if they give the ball to a smaller studio with more ethical practices. There's nothing that says that won't happen. That could open the doors wide open for some creative takes on the franchise, while avoiding the same modern gaming pitfalls that fans rejected in 2017. Imagine what Hades developer Supergiant Games could do with The Mandalorian. There's nothing saying that couldn't happen. Literally, all that happened is Disney lost the exclusivity. I completely said that wrong again, but you know what I mean. Star Wars, EA is not the only one who can make Star Wars games anymore. That is literally all this means. That's the only thing that's changed. That's it. They keyed in on Ubisoft to make this one open world Star Wars game. That's it. They could totally make a Mandalorian game with another studio. There's nothing that says that can't happen. Instead, it feels like Disney is putting a fresh coat of paint on an old strategy just as the brand was starting to enjoy some welcome consistency with EA. No, it's not. No, it's not. Guess what? As long as EA doesn't mess it up, they will still be able to enjoy that same welcome consistency with EA. EA ain't going anywhere. Star Wars will never find its footing as a gaming brand if fans don't see the logo as a seal of quality. Let me go over this, okay? Here we are. Back to the top. Here's my thoughts on the article, because it's over. EA, the only thing they have lost are the exclusive rights to making Star Wars games. Ubisoft does not now have exclusive rights to Star Wars games. They have the rights for this one Star Wars game that Lucasfilms has tasked them to work with them to make. EA will still be making, most likely, Jedi Fallen Order 2. That's probably still going to happen. If they play their cards right, they might even get a Battlefield 3, Rogue Squadrons 2. Okay, Ubisoft is just going to be making this one game. This one game. If they decide to make a Mandalorian game, they could task that studio you were talking about to make that one, just like they tasked Ubisoft to make this one. They could task Bethesda or Obsidian to make the new Knights of the Old Republic 3 if they want to go that route. Because, Bethesda made the original KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, and Obsidian made Knights of the Old Republic 2. So they could task either one of them to make 3. Or maybe both, like I said, to work together. They just joint project since they're both under Microsoft. Or they could task someone else completely. They could task CD Projekt Red, although that's not likely if the cyberpunk stuff going on right now. Drama. But you know what I'm saying. That no one has exclusive rights, okay? This is a good thing. This is 110% a good thing. There is not a single bad thing that has come from this news of EA losing exclusivity rights. I said it right that time. This is a good thing. There is no negative in this. None whatsoever. I don't understand this article. God, it's so horrible. I'm sad for the state of gaming journalism. It's only gotten worse since Gamergate. They obviously didn't listen. They just called gamers sexist and misogynist and continued on their merry way. Didn't listen at all. Yeah, but good news is EA doesn't have exclusivity anymore. Let's hope the NFL can do the same thing, because boy, I'm tired of Madden. Madden is terrible. Madden's terrible. Madden's terrible. EA's terrible. Ubisoft's terrible. Star Wars, as it was left off with the sequel trilogy, is terrible. But hopefully it can be saved now that Lucasfilms is kind of becoming more of a thing. I don't know how true it is, but I heard George Lucas is being brought back for the movies and TV shows and stuff to try to fix the universe and all that. And now gaming, EA does not have exclusive rights anymore, so there's a lot of open possibilities now that could happen. There is no passing the torch. If you like the way EA's been doing the last little bit, that's going to continue. Nothing's stopping them. Anyways, guys, if you made it this far, thanks for watching the video. As always, this has been Solid Shepard. Until next time, I should go.